Hello, we are going to be bringing you some breaking news, and that is the Ferrari team are about to add a 7-time world champion to their ranks. So, the last time they had a 7-time world champion, Michael Schumacher, the greatest, the GOAT of F1, was involved in the team. But another 7-time world champion is about to join their ranks, as Lewis Hamilton is going to join the Scuderia Ferrari for the 25 season onwards. So, what does this mean in terms of the transfer market? I don't know, but all I know is that things are going to drop like dominoes after this season, because as you can see on the grid, you got loads of people out of contract. As you see, we've got the biggest names out of contract at the end of this season. You've got the likes of Perez, you've got Sainz, you've got Alonso, and then you've got the Alpines, the Williams, the Cash App F1 RB team, the Stake Sauber team, and you got Haas F1 team. So, what does this mean for the coming years of the F1 grid? Well, we are going to digest that in such as we go into what happens after Lewis joins Ferrari. That will mean that a driver is out of contract, out of the red team, and no idea where he goes. So Sainz will be out of Ferrari. Then I reckon it's between Perez and Sainz, or Albon. I reckon more likely Albon, because Albon would be amongst the umbrella in terms of the Mercedes umbrella. So I reckon Albon would join up with Mercedes alongside Russell. Then I think a big shock now. I think that Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz will partner together and join up with Stake F1 team Sauber. So I reckon that could be the big Audi project incoming for both Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, who both are out of contract this season. Of course, you've got Fernando Alonso there, but Alonso is going to be retiring very, very soon, I'm guessing. After, I reckon he'll extend his contract with Aston Martin for 2 years, and then see how things go for Alonso in 2026. I mean, if he likes what he's doing in the sport for 26, then he would extend his stay. But the big news is that Lewis Hamilton will join Ferrari in 2025 season, and this is what it means. So, as you see, we got Sergio Perez, who, in my opinion, underperformed last season, and he's got a lot to prove if he is to stay at Red Bull. But I reckon that Sergio Perez will get replaced after this season by none other than Daniel Ricciardo. Now, that is Red Bull's main aim, is to get Ricciardo alongside Verstappen. Then that pairing could sort itself out in years to come and all that. And then they'll be looking into getting someone younger, maybe Liam Lawson, into the team once Max decides to walk away after his contract. And then that's sorted for Red Bull. For Ferrari, with Hamilton joining next season, it is going to be interesting to see him alongside Charles Leclerc. Now, Leclerc is on a long-term contract. In terms of Hamilton, he would probably ideal be 2 years, just until 2026 comes. I doubt he'll go any further than that. I reckon he wants to try and do something in 25, and then he'll try to do something in 26 for the new regulation rules. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does for Ferrari. So yeah, Red Bull Ferrari, that will sort themselves out. And then once obviously Hamilton goes, maybe Schwartzman or someone like that will replace him. Or Vesti. Vesti's a great youngster that deserves a place in F1, but sadly no seats. So I reckon Vesti or Schwartzman will take over the reins of Hamilton once he retires. Aston Martin would stay the same, of course. I reckon Alonso would stay 2 years alongside Lance Stroll, with his papa Lawrence Stroll as the owner of the team. So yep. So the Gasly and Ocon situation at Alpine, they'll still stay the same in terms of what they're going to be doing onwards. I reckon it'd be silly to get rid of both of them at Alpine, both French, of course, French team. So I doubt that much would change. Now, in terms of Albon and Sargent, I reckon both will leave Williams. I reckon Williams will. No, Albon would join up with Russell in Mercedes, and then Sargent would probably quit the sport altogether. So that will leave 2 seats for 2 youngsters coming in to the F1 grid, which is going to be good. And then you've got maybe in one Williams we get the youngster Mick Schumacher. He is a fantastic driver, and I reckon he is going to be a special talent in the future. And then maybe eventually he'll raise himself up to Mercedes or Alpine. So yeah, next team to look at really is the Cash App F1 RB team. So Tsunoda, I reckon, will stay where he is unless he outperforms Daniel Ricciardo, in which then Tsunoda would take Perez's spot at Red Bull. But if it stays the same and maybe Ricciardo does better, then obviously Ricciardo will go and replace Perez at Red Bull. So whoever is better performed out the two throughout the season, I reckon will take the Red Bull spot. So that will leave the unfortunate driver, and I reckon the Tsunoda or Ricciardo will stay at Cash App F1 team if there's no other places, of course. So yeah, and then that leaves us to the next team, and that is, of course, you've got your Valtteri Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou, or Zhou Guan Yu, and I reckon both will leave as well. I reckon Bottas' time is up in F1. I reckon he'll retire, or just leave the sport entirely and retire and go to another sport. I reckon the same will go with Guo Zhanyu, or Zhanyu Guo. And of course, this is the pre-stage of Audi entering F1, so they might need to bring in a youngster, maybe a Mick Schumacher, because Audi do want a German driver on their grid, in their team. So who knows? But whoever does join Stick F1 team is going to be there for the long haul. Then the next team is Haas. Now Haas is up in the air at the moment because both drivers been there a long time. In terms of Magnussen, been there since the day one era of Haas F1 team entering F1. So I reckon both will go, and I reckon Fittipaldi will join up with Haas. Then who knows? It could be someone really random. So yeah, that's what I think of what the grid will look like eventually. But in terms of today's news, of course, the biggest news of all is Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari for the 25 season. And it's going to be interesting because Lewis, he's no mug, he knows what he's doing. Then obviously, I reckon he'll have 2 more years and then he'll retire for good, Lewis Hamilton. He'll give one season in the new regs. If we don't like it, he will go regardless. There's 2 years is a long time for a 40-year-old driver. So yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what happens. But how crazy is it going to be to see Lewis Hamilton, young kid who's been nurtured by McLaren and Mercedes, to change up colours from grey, black and silver to the Scuderia red. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and don't forget, launch reaction starting 3rd of Feb. I will be reacting to the McLaren launch, of course, and then I will be reacting to the Haas launch, which is on the 3rd. So two reactions, and then yeah, onwards. Here we go. I'm guessing this will not just be the only story before the 2024 season kicks off. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you next time.